Alright, this is a Kenmore 158 1041. So it's a 10401 machine. The mini Kenmore Frister and Rossman Cub. It's got pop-off top here. And the complaints about this machine from the customer were that it won't reverse, but the reverse lever moves and the feed dogs do come back and forth. So who knows what I'll find for issues, but it does need some cleaning and oiling because it's been clearly a little dry in here. It was 2 screws to remove the needle plate, and it also has the pop-out style here. There was also a complaint about bobbin tension on this machine, and when I cleaned the bobbin case, it did have some issues. I didn't check the foot when I took the foot off. The foot is smooth on the bottom. It's not cut up real bad from running without fabric under it. So at least there's that. This bobbin winder was a bit stiff, so we're going to have to oil that and spin it to make sure that it gets oiled up. And the selector turns, but it is really stiff, so I'm going to need to get some oil in there. And for these top dial selectors, there's always the challenge of getting the getting oil underneath on the pin where it rotates, because the pin this rotates on can seize as well. So gonna start with our drop of oil on the cam slide on either side of that, and spin here. We've got our main selector lever, and then the rear lever is our stretch stitch. And it disengages our reverse, but seems to be acting properly. Yeah. All right. There, and even that drop of oil has made this a lot easier on top here. So we'll keep going through oiling everything that moves. The feed dog retracting lever here is completely stuck. So I'll need to take the bottom off and free that up, because this is a very delicate pot metal lever, and if you push on that too hard, you're going to end up breaking it. So I'll finish oiling the top here, same as everything else, just oil everything that moves, and then we'll have to open the side and the end. So you can see the 1040 doesn't have a pop clutch like the later models. It's got a decorative stop motion or clutch nut here that's big enough to match the hand wheel, and it has a set screw in it, and then the washer popped off and fell off behind it. But this is not releasing for bobbin winding, and so it needs to get a little bit of oil in there. And this is chrome plastic cast onto a metal hub for the clutch, and then there's a plastic pulley for the drive as well. So you have to be careful with this hand wheel because it's plastic, even though it's been chromed up to look metal. And that seems to be in good shape. So I'll lay this on its back and get the other covers off. Alright, on the bottom, there's one screw here, but the bottom cover is held in place by 3 screws. So there's the bottom screw here, and then the folding extension table has a screw under it that's on the back side. Second screw. And then the end cover has a 3rd screw. And you see when I loosen that 3rd screw, the bottom came loose. There. And then there used to be a foam pad in here to make it quieter, but that foam pad is long gone. Alright, well, there are 3 screws out of the way. We have access to this big pin here, and even just a little bit of time in checking it here. I didn't want to force that lever because it's very fragile and these are usually stuck. But now with it open, so that I can inspect it and make sure that it's in working order, this clutch lever, or this feed lever, wasn't actually stuck. But again, this is real delicate, so you don't want to just force it. You want to double check that it's free to move before you go hauling around on it. So, alright. And then obviously the insides of this are just compact versions of the other contemporaries. But since we're here, we can get a drop of oil in the motor. And I'll take this cover off and check the grease under here. See if it needs to get pulled out and replaced with some new grease. These covers are no longer sealed. It's open on the top under the needle plate. Some of the earlier 158s, the gearbox is entirely sealed, and you'll see that when I take this off, there's a notional gasket in here to seal across there, but it's not very heavy, and there's only a tiny scrap of grease in there, not even on the gears. So yeah, so I'll put some fresh grease in there and close that up, and then we'll take the end cover off to check the belt this will be done soon. Last thing, there is a set screw here. To get the end cover off, there are 2 screws. There's the one that holds the bottom in place, and then this set screw clamps a pin that goes in this hole. So you have to remove the lower screw and then get the set screw for this upper pin to get the cover off the end of this machine. Okay. The last thing with the end off is a dab of oil for the jack shaft on this idler pulley. The belts on this machine are looking good, so I'm not worried about them. This machine has this jack shaft tightens. It doesn't have the spring bracket, so you need to loosen the lower motor with the 2 motor mounting bolts, get the first belt off, loosen the jack shaft, which is reverse thread, so you clockwise loosen it, so it's lefty, it's right, turn right to loosen it, and then you can remove the top belt, and then put the top belt, put both belts on, and then tighten the top belt and counterclockwise to tighten the jack shaft, and then tighten up your lower belt with the mounting screws for the motor. The other thing that is a little more accessible from the end here is the reverse block, because it's buried underneath the selector up top. So I'm gonna get in and put a drop of oil on the reverse block, and the pivot for the reverse knob here, since I'm in here.